breakdown.
All right, folks. Welcome to the breakdown. I think we're on like episode 11 or 12 here. Um, I'll be hosting Mags. I got with me the Realist 260, currently of the Los Angeles Lakers,
The
and
meme team.
yeah, right, and Woody V2, who is with the Cleveland Cavaliers. So. I'm going to start off, going to talk a little bit about a couple of things that I've seen happen so far. Um, so, first thing I'm going to talk about and address here, there were some questions about a ruling on it was a Lakers and Rockets game. I think it happened last week. A free throw was shot that counted for 2 points. An individual free throw counted for 2 points. So obviously there was a complaint filed, and staff ruled that it should only count as one. And if I'm not mistaken, it led to them having to replay a quarter for an overtime period. No, I'm not even sure of the results of the game, but there were some people arguing that should have counted as 2 points instead of one. So what I'm going to say to this is if this is a sim style league, it's not like every other league out there. And while we can't be 100% sim, I'm never ever going to push staff to count a free throw, which is worth 1 point, to count as two if 2K decides to freaking be high on crack for a night. Like that's not gonna happen. Like that's not even realistic remotely. So um, I don't know why somebody would try to argue that. I really don't. I don't know what the thought process is on that when you're playing in a sim style league. So, I mean, if you've got some sort of reasoning as to why that should count, by all means, come to me. I'll hear you out. You can ask Revolves. I'll hear anything out. So, um, another thing I did want to talk about is, this past week was a little bit rough, and I think they did a pretty good job of trying to sift through it. They probably do need some help, so if somebody's wanting to, if you're willing or wanting to try to help the league out, step up for staff, reach out to James. James there's a very high likelihood that if Madden has OTP, James is probably going to shift over to that league, which means that the EBA will be open for somebody to run. And I would prefer to have somebody that is in staff and has at least went through a couple seasons of knowing how the back end of things works, just so that they're familiar with it, being able to show the new people coming in how to do things, even though I can also help as well and guide you through it. I mean, it's not something you've got to jump into and you wouldn't have any help, but that's something that's a possibility out there, and Realist and Woody and James can use, they can use extra hands. I don't think he's actively looking for anybody, but if that's something that you're interested in, by all means reach out to him. So I'm going to do a little thing here for some early surprises and early disappointments. So for me, my biggest early surprise is the Actuallys team. There were a lot of people I heard in parties. I think it might have even been mentioned on Ice's show that they wouldn't, even though they had the Cavs, that he wouldn't be able to compete, whatever. And he's sitting at 13-1 right now and proving everybody that I've heard from wrong. There may have been some people out there that said otherwise and thought differently of him early on, but he's definitely surprised me. I mean, Z's I don't know if he's been the owner before. He was staff. I think he might have been an owner maybe a few seasons back or something like that. I can't remember, but clearly
he was the owner in the VFL.
Well, yeah, I mean, way back in those days, but I'm just talking about basketball league wise.
Right.
I don't know, I just can't remember him being one, but anyways, it's usually hard for either a newer or an owner that's only been an owner once or twice to put together a solid team, and Z's done just that with the Cavs. As far as disappointment goes, it's pretty easy for me. It's Eastern quitting and really not even just quitting, coming to us and saying he can't handle it anymore, trying to dump his entire team, and trying to get that one by then saying that he's quitting. So that one kind of bothered me a little bit. That's a disappointment of mine because it was somebody that I had respect for Eastern, and I'm not going to like sit here and hate him or nothing like that because of it, because that's just not me. I don't really hold grudges or anything like that on, not even in real life, much less Xbox. So just kind of sucked that he tried to do that, because it affects, when one team does something like that, it not only affects that team, but it affects every other team in the league too, because you saw the everybody like, oh, let's just restart this, that, and the other, which I will say that I will never support a restart, but I will always hear it out from staff if they truly feel that it needs to happen. But I can usually give plenty of reasons why. It's just people trying to get out of situations as opposed to restarting for the betterment of the league. So those are probably mine. Can't think of anything else right off the top of my head that's really a disappointment or surprise. I guess surprised that Trainer and them are showing up and playing games. That's a little bit of a surprise to me because I didn't think anybody would play with the Lakers. So I guess that's a little bit of a surprise to me. So kudos there. Yeah, that's all I can think of. So what you got, Realist?
As far as surprise, kind of surprised how fast things went down with owners quitting and
Right.
players quitting. It was all week 1 looked really good, and then beginning of week 2 everything just seemed to start going downhill with owners quitting and players quitting and not liking what teams they're on and just not really caring and just saying they'll take the blacklist. They don't really care. That's probably my biggest surprise. And then I think biggest disappointment will always be the same, that we allowed Trainer to keep the Lakers. I didn't agree with that one bit.
Yeah, so for the people that or I guess don't know, that aren't staff, they had a discussion on whether or not they should kind of force the hand of Trainer to repick his team once the other teams had selected. And it ended up being they stuck with making him live by his pick. Although I have discussed with ICE, and I would never tell staff to do this or anything, it's their call, but I said if they're going to ban the Warriors, I said maybe we should institute the Trainer rule and make them ban the crappy teams too. keep the crappy teams out of it. But anyways, moving on to Woody with his surprises and disappointments.
My biggest surprise so far, really, and it's hard not to echo what you guys said, but my biggest surprise is how well week 1 went. Like Rilla said, week 1 was a great week. Everything was going smoothly. And then all of a sudden, this past week 2, everything just collapsed. Eastern, it was weird because you see Eastern was trade dumping, and I see all these trades. It was I remember one was Realist for Zabrio. I mean, Zabrio's not a bad player, but that's still kind of a one-sided trade. And then it was Hot Shot for somebody, and you see all this, and so we started questioning. We were like, yo, is Eastern is he trying to trade dump? Is he trying to? And then all of a sudden he quits. And I remember me and Realist, we did interviews. We did interviews with Eastern and all these other people, and Lewis, we did an interview with him, and we felt really solid. He was going to be a really good owner. He said he wouldn't quit. He coaches basketball now, so people him quitting too. That surprises me.
Sure.
In terms of biggest disappointments, it's the same thing. The owners having these kind of issues. Obviously, Trainer always disappoints me because he picks these ridiculous teams and then does nothing with them. the Blazers were kind of or have been like they've been a surprise but a disappointment. The Blazers started off really well. I think they were like 3-1 or 4-1 in their first few games, and then ever since that they've been kind of going along. So it's been interesting so far. Right.
All right, so this next section here, we're going to talk a little bit about the standings, kind of where or who you see coming out of each conference here and making it into the playoffs. Now, I'm going to assume here that we're going to take, 6 teams out of the 10 to the playoffs? Is that how that's going to work?
That's how it's going to work, yeah.
Okay. So, right now in the Eastern Conference, you got the Pelicans, Knicks, and Thunder. Now, the Knicks are missing a few games, and they're still in second place. So, they're most likely even better record than what they are showing. Looks like there's probably games against the Jazz and Clippers that they're missing right now. We have the Rockets and Wizards, which are right there. I mean, there's 2 games right now separating first from fifth in the Eastern Conference. So every single team is in play. For the Western Conference, you got the Cavs, Trailblazers, and Jazz. Which shockingly, the Jazz are still right there and in a good spot now. As long as it looked like Beastie was getting people to show up. So, and then you got the Clippers and Lakers trailing them. So, for me, in the Eastern Conference, I think the Pelicans and Knicks are probably the front runners there. If the Pelicans can get their stuff straightened out there, they should definitely be better than 7-7 with the types of players they have on that team. But I don't know, maybe there's some conflicting egos or something. I don't know, but to be 7-7 with that team and that level of talent, they probably need to make some changes. You got the Knicks, which, like I said, I have a feeling their record's actually better than what it shows. I could be wrong, but even if I am wrong, they're still sitting in second place, or at least tied with the Thunder. And then you got the Thunder, Rockets, and Wizards. And to be honest, it's probably a toss-up there. I know we're making some moves. I don't know too much about the Rockets, but I know with G taking ownership, he's also looking to make some moves. So I really think it's going to be a toss-up there between the last 3 teams. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that the Rockets will take the 3rd spot, based on the fact that I think G's going to go out of his way to make sure he gets into the playoffs, and which props to G, because when I guess Lewis stepped down, staff hadn't even reached out to anybody, and G sent Texas James a message that said, "Go ahead and give me owner access. Let me take care of this." So he's like, "I'm trying to put in stats or whatever." And James was like, "You want it? Are you sure? You got time to handle it?" And he, G was absolutely, I got this. So props there.
Yeah.
For the West, Cavs right now, I think they're the best team in the league. I mean, not only record-wise, but I mean, they're just. I've seen I think 2 of their games. Seen clips of. They're just clicking and playing right now. Like I said, proving a lot of people wrong. If I'm not mistaken, Enton Irvin and all the post Kobe and all them on that too.
Yeah.
There was a lot of people talking about how they were riding crow's tit, and they're going out there and proving that they can handle stuff on their own. So, props to you guys for balling out. I think the Trailblazers will hold steam and keep going. And then it's going to be a tricky one here. I don't think the Lakers have any chance, but the Jazz and the Clippers are going to be in a close one, because they've both taken hits to their teams because of people that have stepped up and or quit and all this stuff. They've taken hits. So I'm going to go with the Clippers only because they're such a better team overall. than the Jazz are. So I'm going to go Cavs, Trailblazers, Clippers. So going to move on to Realist here and see where he's at, what he thinks on these standings.
In the East, I think it's really like a two-team race. Like third spot to me doesn't really matter that much. I think it's just between the Pelicans and the Knicks, and I kind of think I really think that it comes down to who has the most active guys at the end of the season between the two teams. Whether people let like I know Dimes has a lot of pro-am guys on his team, so if they let pro-am get in the way, that could hurt. If not, then it should. I think it would be a good series between them. I would probably take Miz's team, the Knicks, just because Miz has a lot of EBA experience. I mean, so does Fab, but Miz has kind of been the top owner for the last 2-3 seasons. So I would take them to probably come out of the West. I mean the East, and then the West. I mean, the Cavs are on top, and they look like they're got an easy road to the finals. But maybe Portland or Utah could step up. But right now, it looks like the Cavs got an easy shot to the finals.
All right. What about you?
I mean, in the East, it's pretty simple. It's the Pelicans and the Knicks. They're gonna be the top two regardless. The Wizards are, they're trash, just like I expected.
Hey.
Without, I mean, honestly, dog, without JT, without JT, Ramo, there is no chance. We played them last night, and I mean, they played well. But I mean, JT's a dog. He's smart. He just takes really good shots. This dude just knows how to get open.
All honestly, I'm gonna say is the other line is 2-1 this week.
Really?
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah, so because we played JT and them, and like I said, I mean, dude, and it's not even like he's doing anything glitchy like everybody. Like he just gets open. he doesn't momentum dribble or anything. He just gets open. Yeah. But in terms of that third spot in the East, I'm going to have to go with the Thunder. And I guess it really depends on, the next update that comes out for 2K, because, when they update the rosters and stuff like that, if they buff Westbrook even more, then, it's going to be even harder to stop him. It's already hard enough to stop him as it is. Mike Mann's having a crazy season,
what else can
as he should.
Westbrook? I mean, good Lord.
Really, give him a little bit better three, give him better midi. I don't know, but they're gonna buff him a little bit. I don't know what you can do. He's like a 96 already, but he will get better. And I mean, I think but G will fight to the end. G's a great guy. He's been in management for he was in management for like 2 or 3 seasons with Miz, so he understands the league. He knows everything. He's gonna do his thing. In terms of the West, I mean, it's pretty straightforward. I don't mean to toot my team's horn, but obviously, we plan on locking up the first seed. I'll put it to you like that. We're having a good season. Only losses to the Clippers, and honestly, we shouldn't have lost. That was a really bad game. That was just one of those games where everything that could happen did happen. D9 hit like 4 or 5 contested middies and had like 3 and 1s with Jamal Crawford. So stuff like that's not going to happen on a regular basis, realistically. After that, it'll be Portland and Utah. Especially, knowing what I know right now, Utah will definitely lock up the 3rd seed. They're making some good moves. And Portland, I mean, I don't know, it's weird. Portland, we've played them twice so far, and I don't know what they're doing in other games, but like when we play them, I don't see anything. But then it's like all these other games, they're winning. They're winning pretty convincingly. They're not winning by a point or 2, but they're winning. So I don't know what they're doing and what they're not doing, but I think they'll stay the 2 seed for sure.
All right, guys. So kind of a short show this time around. So we're gonna close it out with some final words, statements, and stuff like that. I've got a couple things. First, to the owners that have continued to stick it out, I appreciate it. For the ones who signed up for a commitment and couldn't even make it past week 1, you might want to reevaluate how you're looking at things if you can't even make it through freaking 1 week. We're almost through 2 weeks. It's a 4 week commitment of 8 games a week. It's not don't get me wrong, being owner is a pain sometimes, but that just shows this season shows the importance of getting somebody that's actually a good GM to help you out, as opposed to just somebody that's an extra player, because it does make a big difference. And you can see it in a lot of the teams that actually have the GMs, like Fab, that is actually doing a lot of work. For the Pelicans comes to mind right away. So, if you don't think you can make the commitment, I mean, just don't do it. And let staff try to figure out, who's going to be an owner or whatnot. But I know there's several people that I've talked to that are like, hey, I'm stepping up to be owner next season, because I ain't letting, I'm not going through that. I'm not, I know I can run a team, so I'm going to do it. So there's going to be some new blood that steps up. Well, not all of them are new blood, but people that have been owners before that have kind of taken some seasons off that are like, yeah, I'm going to do my thing. So, the other thing that I wanted to bring up was, people get frustrated a lot of times, with the ruling that staff makes. If you have an issue, before you go off the hinges, we'll do one of two things. Talk to staff, and if you can't get a hold of staff, you can always come talk to me. I'm not going to change any of their rulings, but I can at least go to them and say, hey, such and such come to me and said this. They don't agree with this. What's your thoughts on it? Why did we rule on it this way? If anything else, it starts a conversation to where we can reevaluate possibly changing a rule for the future or doing something to better the league. Because, I mean, at the end of the day, like, I don't really do anything to run the leagues. I help keep the website going. I'm here shortly. I'm going to be having tons of meetings and conference calls related to the website. We've got some new stuff coming in on the back end that was in our original plans of stuff to roll out with the stat system. So I'll be having some meetings coming up to where we're discussing how those are supposed to work, so that our development team knows exactly how to work it. And put it in. So just do me that favor and come to me. Best example I can give you is Revolves. We had a misunderstanding on something, and he come to me and talked to me about it. And I think we were in a party for like 3 minutes, and we had the problem resolved, everything back to normal in no time. So, just coming to me can take care, or Truth or James can usually take care of the issue a lot quicker than posting in a group me to where the text is going to be misunderstood or something like that, or taken the wrong way. So, Realist.
I mean, I don't really got much to say. Honestly, I don't. I'm on the Lakers, so that's all I got to say.
Living the dream.
Shout out to the Lakers.
What is it? What was you calling those? Drifters. Beware the drifter.
Yeah, tonight I'm gonna shoot about 20 of them.
Oh my god! I really wish I was playing that game so I can get all those boards.
I think he's playing the Wizards, actually.
Well, somebody's about to get at least 30 rebounds this game. Somebody is stat padding.
All right.
Can't stat pad if they go in.
This is true.
Yeah, that is true.
He's over here practicing them so he can green them, which is terrible. Terrible.
What do you think I've been doing the whole show?
I know.
That's funny.
All right, Woody.
See, look at that one. That's a green.
Shout outs. I mean, I want to shout out all the owners who quit. I really appreciate you showing up to an interview. Telling me and Realist all this shit, and then quitting in the second week because of simple stuff. I'll have a new job, but yet you're on Xbox all the time. Stuff like that. That's just great stuff. I want to shout out, the people who stepped up, G, BC, even Shump. Shump tried, but that team was just that team's a shit show. I'm sure he'll listen to this, so I'm going to give a super special shout out to Crow because I know he's going to listen to this. Because I was on the website and lo and behold, what do I see? This dude is in the chat box, the EBA chat box, after he retired or quit, and he's still talking shit. If you miss the league that much, just come back. You ain't got to sit here and talk shit to fucking Ice. Like nobody honestly cares about you or thinks about you. This league runs without you perfectly fine. So don't make yourself seem important because you're not. That's just that simple.
What's hilarious is people that call Ice trash, like he's ever thought he was any good at any at 2K. Like he'll tell you.
Ice literally says every show, every time he says, "I know I'm not the best. I'm not great, but I show up and I do what I have to do," and that is actually all that matters. If you can just show up, and if you show up, yeah, you may not score. But honestly, as long as you're not losing us the game, that's all that matters. Ice shows up and he's not a cancer to the team. He's a good guy. He's going to help the team out. He's going to do whatever he's got to do. If you want him to literally sit in the corner for the entire game, he's going to sit in the corner. And he may not shoot the ball. He may not even get a pass, but he's going to do it, as long as, he just wants to win.
There's
so it's
probably
like,
a lot
you got
of
people like Crow.
that would go for somebody that would just show up to games.
Exactly.
Right.
Why do you think Ice gets picked up every season?
Right.
He may not be the greatest, but he's smart. He's not stupid. The dude's a smart guy, and he's gonna play. So it's like, people like Crow, oh, you're trash. He doesn't say he's good. He doesn't try to be good. He just wants to play. He does this for fun. Yeah. Just like a lot of people, this kid retires, but then he's still in the EBA chat box, trying to talk shit to people. Like, come out of retirement and play. What the fuck would you be doing right now if you wouldn't be doing anything either. You'd just be another body. Like, congratulations. Also, I hate that dude so much, man. He's so annoying. It's so frustrating. Like, I don't understand. I honestly don't understand how you can just be so content with being a loser. Like, I don't get it.
Well, here the thing with Crow is he has two personalities. He's got one when you're actually in a party with him and a foreign personality, and it's two completely different people.
Yeah, see, I'm never in a party with him because I don't want to hear anything from him because, like I said, you can be good at a video game all you want, but people, we have lives outside of this. I have a job, you have a job, like I said, he's got a bachelor's degree and all this other stuff. He helps run the site, he does a lot. He has a radio show, he has all this stuff. Sure. It's like, just because I'm not good at a video game, I still have a life. I have a lot of other things I'm good at, like being a man. Right. Try doing that for once, bro. Then we'll talk. Other than that, I just want to shout out. Yeah, other than that, I just want to shout out my line. Revolves and King. This has actually been one of the funnest seasons I've had so far playing. They're really fun dudes to play with and they're real cool. Shout out to Grim Squad too, because I've never heard of this dude, but then
King,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you can call him Queen. That works too.
I don't know why I even said that. Yeah.
It happens, and but people like Grim Squad. Like I don't know if you guys know Grim Squad, but like I've never met him before.
No, the gamer tag.
So I was like, I've never seen this dude play, in 2K. So I'm like, who is this guy? Why are we playing with him? This dude came out and he's a sniper. Definition of a dude. He was hitting shots. He doesn't hesitate either. He gets that ball and he's got space. He was chucking it. He was the real live JR. Except he shot better than JR. He shot better than JR. So shout out to that dude. People like that. I've never heard of dude, but he gets on and he does his thing. You can be that person. People may not know you, but if you get on and do your thing, somebody's gonna start to notice you.
Yeah. Speaking of snipers, that Eurostep dude for the Pelicans can absolutely shoot with. I think is it Etwan Moore?
Yeah, Etwan Moore. The dude is a sniper.
Yeah. So props to him. He lit us up.
Did he?
Oh yeah.
No, Etwan Moore is. I knew about Eurostep because obviously last season he was on Trump's team. Yeah. A lot of people said he was pretty good, so I'm happy to see that he's still doing good.
Yeah, he was shooting. All right, guys. Well, I appreciate you joining me, and then those that listen in. I hope you enjoyed the show. I'm going to try to get back on track and doing them once a month. Unfortunately, that's about all my schedule allows, but hopefully I can get back to doing them once a month again because things have calmed down a little bit at work. So I'm getting a little bit of extra time, and I'll be on trying to prepare some new features for the stat system with the developers, so we'll see how that goes.